simple concept. Yeah. React is a very simple concept. If you understand the concept of React, okay, understanding of the concept is most important to know the technology. Okay, till now we discussed a couple of technologies over here. So by using HTML and by using CSS, even we created some basic layouts also with the help of HTML and CSS and all. But this is very simple. From the beginning, I am okay telling. I told you about okay HTML and React.js. We need to compare about HTML technology as well as React.js. Did you understand? So HTML in the sense, if you want to create any kind of website, there what we need to do? We need to use, first of all, we need to use HTML tags. Then we need to use CSS coding. Did you understand? Okay, CSS coding we need to do. Okay, so but when we are using React.js, what we need to do? So there also we need to use. There is a okay, there is a couple of processes there. Depend upon the website only, we need to use the procedure to do websites in React.js. So first procedure is in React.js, if it is a basic website, so we can use the HTML tags as well as we can assign some CSS coding to that tags also. This is your first process. And for second procedure also be there, which means React.js had a couple of libraries, LIBRA, RIES. Within the library, it had something components. Did you understand? So maybe within the library, sometimes some kind of libraries may also had something HTML tags. Okay, either by using libraries we can develop a React.js project, or by using CSS HTML we can develop a React.js. So even there is a component out there. So in React.js you should understand about components. Okay, this is a simple one, but bit complicated. So that we need to identify that complications and we can go forward to develop React.js. Okay, so here you need to understand about components. Did you understand? And second one is, and third one is, there is a with the libraries we can use JavaScript. Okay, we can use JavaScript with LIBRARIES libraries. In the sense, we need to use some JavaScript within the component, either CSS or JavaScript. We need to use within the component. We need to use JavaScript also as well as CSS also. Which is CSS we need to use within this components having in libraries? Which JavaScript we need to use within the component having in okay having in these libraries. Some of the libraries are having some divisions. Some of the libraries are having some components. Okay. So these are the three process which we need to know. Mainly depend upon, I am saying that now I told you now. Okay. So depend upon the website only we need to use this kind of methods to develop websites. So if it is a component having some JavaScript and CSS, so the JavaScript is nothing but these are the topics which we discussed over here in this JavaScript. As well as whatever CSS we are applying over here, these are the CSS methods and coding and HTML tags we need to assign with the libraries. So here you need to observe one thing, you know about JavaScript as well as CSS, but we need to know about libraries. There is a couple of libraries are there. Okay. So here we should see while we are working with HTML, there is no this kind of process are not there. There simply we can use only HTML tags. For that tags we can assign some CSS or libraries or JavaScript. But here there is a procedure is there. You should understand that one. Did you understand? Even we know HTML and CSS and all. So then first we will discuss about this one. Later we will discuss about that this one. And after discussing about these two topics, then you can understand about the third topics also. Okay, did you understand? So here we should see, and there is a most important thing is there, which means if we want to create any kind of web page in HTML, we need to mention the page extension is .html. Okay. Even we need to define something starter template. Starter template. What does it mean by starter template? Couple of time I told you START starter TMPLATE template. So it had something, okay, head is there, as well as it had something, okay, title title is there, right? It has titles, meta tags, everything need to be insert within the header tag. You know about this one, okay? Okay, did you understand? So here we should see there is a body tag is there. Within the body only we created couple of we used a couple of HTML tags and CSS, and even we created one basic website using this within the, okay, within the starter template itself. Instead of the starter template in HTML we are using starter template, but here in this React.js, we need to use components. Instead of starter template, we need to use components. Did you understand? So starter template doesn't require to use in this React.js. Even React couldn't support that starter template, whatever we use it there in that HTML. Did you understand? So here we should see, so that I told you before, in introduction class, I told you about React.js definition. So React.js is a JavaScript library. Okay, JavaScript library library having some components is called as a React.js. What is happening over here? So here there is in React there is no starter template at all, but it had some component. Within the component, we need to use some libraries, HTML, CSS tags with the components also. Library has always maintain some components. Okay, did you understand? It seems to be a bit complicated. Okay, Akshay didn't, please don't confuse at whatever I am. Okay, I told you, please do, please follow that process and do practice so that you can understand very clearly. Okay, need not worry about this one and need not, please don't tension about this one. Try to understand the concept so you can, okay, you can develop any kind of websites as much as possible. I would like to giving you the, okay, clear definition, clear clarity about these topics. Okay, did you understand? Actually, did you understand? Avek, did you understand? So here we should see what is this component. Instead of starter template, we need to work with this component now. What is the syntax, or what is the, this is nothing but coding, as well as we should say this is also a syntax in HTML. But when we want to work with the project within the component, what is the syntax having for this component in React.js? I told you in JavaScript there is a couple of functions are there, classes are there. Let me complete. Let me complete. Please here. If you had any doubt, we can discuss end of the session. Okay. So that what is the syntax of this component having in React.js? Okay, did you understand? So it is purely relevant to functions. So here we should say function is there. We need to define the name of that function. Function always carries curly braces. Within the function, we had some return return method is there. Method always contain open curly braces. Then after that, within the return method, we need to define something division HTML tag. So here we should see we need to add something division over here, as well as it couldn't maintain any kind of HTML link, SR script kind of HTML tags to import okay, some files from another place into this component, so that in that situation we need to use import react from from okay, double quotes that backslash single quotes that backslash react. We need to define like this. So this is only the starter template we need to use within the React.js. If it is HTML, we need to use this kind of starter template. Did you understand? Avek, do you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Yes, yes. So I told you before, Akshay, do you have any doubt?
No, sir.
So I told you before, here what is happening over here? In this HTML is very simple topic. It doesn't require any kind of, it doesn't have any kind of this kind of syntax over there, right? So it is very simple one. If we want to assign JavaScript CSS, we need to use a head. If we want to assign any kind of HTML tags, we need to assign the tags within the body tag itself. But here in this functional component, where we can add JavaScript, where we can add HTML tags, where we can add okay, CSS kind of things within the functional component. This tag is very familiar with functions. I told you before, in JavaScript there is around okay, 12 types of around approximately 12 type of function is there. Within that function with return statement also is a kind of syntax having in JavaScript. The React developers took that, used that function with return statement as a component in React.js. Did you understand? So here in JavaScript, I told you before, okay, I told you before. So here we should see, I told you before. So it had couple of JavaScript functions also be there. This is functions functions. So whatever JavaScript we discussed, we need to revise that JavaScript, all those topics, okay, so that you can understand very clearly. So in JavaScript, we had standard JavaScript function is there, but here we used some documents and console itself. There is no written statement. As well as this is a expression function with expression is there, even there is no written method at. So but here it is containing some variable values with a function, okay, is carrying by variable is carrying by function itself. And arrow function also seems to be like this, okay, there we need to assign something equal open close brackets and something arrow function is there. And function with properties, in the sense we need to share the kind of properties within the function. And as well as here we should see there is a return method is there. Return method always returns the value of this function in a document or into a console itself. So sometimes some depend upon the project, we need to use variables inside the function is called as a local variable. Like here we defined something like this. This is a local variable. Even we are using this variable value within the function, so that it is a local variable. We are rendering that function like this. Sometimes we need to use this variable outside of the function, so that it is called as a global variable. So when we are using this function, we outside of the function, but we are printing this value inside the function itself, even though we are using this variable outside of the function, so it is called as a global variable. So in React.js, they use the JavaScript return statement as a functional component. Did you understand? Functional component. So here we need to add JavaScript in between function to return method. We need to add HTML tags within the division fragmency. We need to assign CSS inside the return method if it is internal. If it is inline, we need to add the inline internal CSS. We need to add in between function and returns. If it is inline CSS, we need to add okay, we need to add that style sheet within the tag itself. It is called as a inline CSS. Within a line, we are assigning something CSS. Okay, so you need to very familiar with functions. If you want to work with this functional component, you need to know about functions in JavaScript. So I will share you this link to you. Okay, okay, so that so that you can practice over here. We should see. Okay, so I shared you this one. Go through this link and find out the functional component function JavaScript functions. Okay, then very good. We know the difference between HTML as well as React.js functional component. Okay, so that how can we work with React.js? So when we want to work with HTML, CSS, up to 20 classes we discuss over here, but we created couple of folders to keep that files into that folder. So that is called as a root folder. Whether whatever technology, HTML, CSS, mobile app development, whatever it may be, we should maintain one folder to keep that website files within the folder is called as a root folder. So manually we created that root folder by hitting right click button. We created something root folder and we keep that files within the folder itself. But in React, there is a package manager is there. Okay, package manager is there. We need to use this package manager to work with, to create root folder, to work with React.js, to work with libraries. Because that package manager itself had something, okay, command line interface. We need to use something commands. Okay, so that which type of commands it is? NPM commands or NPX, NPM commands or NPX commands. Okay, so to work with React.js, to work with libraries, to execute the React.js project, to post, to publish the React.js project, to push the, to send the React.js files some place to another place or into Get, we need to use these commands. Okay, but here while we are working with HTML, it doesn't require to use any kind of package manager with HTML. But when we are working with React.js, Angular, Node.js, we need to use some package manager where we need to find out this package manager. Did you understand? So for that, we need one server. There is one server is there. Okay. So that server it will maintain this package manager, which is known as the package manager contains some npm npx. So Node.js we need to install to work with this npm npx commands or to work with React.js. So what is that Node.js? Here we should see. Here we should see. So this is a kind of free application. We can download and we can install that okay Node.js for free of cost. Here we should see this is a Node.js. So hit this one. So here we should see we had some updated version is there, nothing but 20.5.1 current version. After 10 days, you can open this Node.js and find out this current version. That version number will be changed because they are updating this one. So we need to use only LTS version, whatever it may be, 18.17.15 or 18.19, 19.0, whatever it may be, we need to use LTS only because they will update current version. They couldn't update the LTS. That permanent version has been released over here. LTS stands for long-term support. Okay. So if you hit this one, it will ask you, it will download that files over here. Okay. Did you understand? After downloading that MSI file, you need to install that one into your system. How to install that? Okay, Node.js. I will share you one YouTube video. Okay, by you can follow that one. It will having around it may had around 5 to 10 minutes installation only. Simple installation is there. Even I will share you that server Node.js website link. Go through this one and try to install all these things. Okay, so here we should see. Okay, this is the Node.js itself. So after installing, how can we operate this server? So here this is our root folder, right? It had a couple of folders are there. Even it had something white space also be there. Go to view menu. I will use this one as a list item. So we had some white places there. How do we know that Node.js server has been installed? To check that one, what we need to do is hold on shift key. Okay. Right click on mouse in empty white area. You didn't select any folder. If you select the folder, right click, it will show folder options. Okay, you couldn't show the okay Node.js options. If you disable that selection and hold on shift key, select the empty area itself, right click, it will show the empty document options. There you will see there is open PowerShell window. After installing the Node.js only, it will show this option. If you didn't install this Node.js, it couldn't show this one. So if you open this one, it is a PowerShell. You need to okay note this PowerShell starter template components kind of words in your running nodes. PowerShell in the sense this will maintain the npm npx commands having a command line interface which is provided by Node.js manager. So this is a PowerShell. If we open this PowerShell very successfully, that Node.js server has been installed your system very successfully. So if it is a command line interface, if it had any kind of commands, it will support the DOS commands also. So it will show like this. It will support some Git commands also. It will support this npm npx commands which is provided by Node.js. npm npx commands also available. So with the help of this npx commands, we need to install React.js. What is the command to install that React.js? So in this PowerShell window, this npm npx commands has been maintained by, okay, PowerShell window, PowerShell PowerShell window, WINDOW. But here you can observe, still now we didn't open VS Code editor. There is no code editor yet. Still we are opened this command line interface itself. So here we should see what is happening over there. Okay, here we need to we need to use something npx command to install React.js. What is that command? So you need to write down these commands in your notes. You need to by heart that one. Okay, so what is that command? Npx create React app. You need to mention the name of that app. You can mention Awake, Akshay, okay, React.js class, like that. So I will share you this running notes also. Keep these notes and try to write some running notes as well. Okay, it would be very helpful to you. So what we are doing is, this is a path, in the sense root, located at G Drive batch 27 Akshay React.js Bangalore. Did you understand? So here what I will do is, we need to use npx create React app. What is the name of our project? React.js class. Did you understand? Here you should see there is no React.js folder yet. We didn't create it, na? So there is no folder yet. So this is the command which we need to use. So server always depends upon the operating system. In our Lappy or desktop, we had some operating system, Windows 10, 11, and we operating system always depends on the system configuration, like RAM process. So here I am using i3 itself. If it is i5, okay, or Macintosh, it couldn't take too much of time to process these commands. But in i3, it may take a couple of minutes time to load everything. So here what I am doing is, simply I will hit this one. Okay, please check out that spelling, CREATE hyphen app RJS class. Commands should be, okay, we need to assign proper spellings for this npm commands. Please recheck a couple of times and do practice. Okay, so it will take around 5 minutes time to install all these okay, files and all. So creating a React app. So now what we are doing is, we are just creating one root folder. Every root folder itself had something, files, packages, servers, and couple of things within that root folder. So what is happening over here? We are not creating this one. Node.js itself is creating that React.js folder structure. If you need AngularJS, npx create Angular app something command you can define over here. So Node.js server will install Angular folder structure. If you want to develop mobile apps, you know what you need to do is npx create okay, some mobile React native app folder name. You need to use that one. Node.js will install that React native. Okay, so because Node is only the server for React JavaScript frameworks, right? So that we need to use that in Node.js while we are using JavaScript frameworks. If it is Android Studio, there we need to download separate software. It doesn't require to use Node.js. If it is a PHP, we need to use Exam WAMP servers. If it is another servers, okay, it doesn't require to use Node.js. If it is a JavaScript frameworks like React Native, Node.js, AngularJS, React.js, couple of things. So for that purpose, we need to use Node.js. So now what happening is Node.js server is installing React.js folder structure after assigning that npx create React app React app command in this our PowerShell window. Here you can observe over here, still we didn't open the, or still we didn't use any kind of VS Code editor. Did you understand? Okay, just 2 minutes here, it will install that folder structure and all. And after that, we will look into it, that folder structure and files and all. Okay, did you understand? So what is happening over here? React itself had some web package manager. Here you should see. We discussed about this one. Inbuilt itself had something package managers, libraries, couple of components inbuilt itself had inbuilt file structure. But HTML couldn't have any kind of server packages. This is a simple technology, but this is an advanced technology. Okay, so that itself carrying something server, itself carrying something files, CSS, HTML, JavaScript, even itself is carrying something server as well. Okay, so that's why it need to install that server, it need to install that package manager, it need to install everything within the React.js folder structure. But when we are working with HTML, it doesn't require to work with okay, it doesn't require to manage any kind of servers, package managers, libraries within the HTML website. Okay, so there is a, you need to compare the difference between HTML and React.js. So you can identify, you can observe all those things very clearly. Did you understand? So here what happening is over here around here we should see around this it has been installed around 1439 packages by default packages. Okay, node modules libraries are the same. So packages in the sense, this is the default package manager carrying by this root folder, which is provided by React.js for our, okay, React.js folder structure. And even by default, that folder structure is having some Git repository also. That Git files also included with this folder, within the folder. And here we had some couple of npm commands to work with React.js, and React has been successfully installed within the root. Did you understand? So we need to enter within the folder. We are in outside of the folder. We need to enter in inside the folder to see the preview. RJS CLS class. Sorry. So that is not a command. So here we should see we need to use. We need to enter into that folder. We need to use okay, CD RJS CLS class. Now we should see, you should see the difference between these two, okay, commands. So we are inside the React.js, that folder located at within the root. So what I would like to do is I want to see the preview. So here we should see npm start. So because it is a folder, existed folder had existed files also. So that we need to customize that files and folders according to our requirement. But that folder structure had something specific solid folder structure is there. So what I will do is this is another npm command to see the preview. If it is HTML document, what we need to do, just right click on this VS Code and find out the open live server. It will show something output in our browser. But here that kind of method here it won't work. So we need to use npm start so to see the preview. So whatever folder structure, whatever existed files itself that root folder had will generate one output in a browser. Okay, whatever browser we are using as a default browser, it will, okay, it will open in that browser itself. So here we should see what is happening over here. So now itself generated one server. Okay. So that is the server name is localhost 3000. Whether you may install, Awake may install, you may also get this kind of localhost 3000 server itself, because that React.js root folder itself had existed webpack and folder structure. Okay, so this is a preview itself had. So what is happening over here? We successfully installed this folder structure into our system. Did you understand? Did you understand? So what is happening over here? There is no root at that package manager. Whatever root folder existed, the package manager, that is nothing but a webpack generated successfully, and that output we can find out that output within the localhost 3000 server itself. Okay, did you understand? So by default, whatever browser I am using, that files are, that output will located within the browser itself. Okay. So what I would like to do is I would like to open the folder structure, React.js folder structure, whatever we installed into VS Code editor. Now we should see what is the folder structure itself had. So now we should say, just go to the file menu. Okay, just go to the file menu. There we should say, go to the file menu and open the folder. Which folder we need to open? React.js folder. Where that folder located at? In our, okay, regular folder itself. So go to the, open the folder. Yeah. So 27th batch, Akshay. Okay, so we had React native React JS class is there. Just open that one, select a folder. Now we should see. It will open the folder structure. It seems to be like this. So why we should use VS Code editor? So in every time we need to use this command line. So while we are customizing that existed files and folder structure, sometimes we need to use this command line also, but it doesn't require to use this command line while we are using VS Code editor, because in VS Code editor itself had one terminal. Itself had one terminal. If you open the terminal, here we should see, here we should see, this is a command line interface. Instead of that Node.js terminal, we can use that one over here also. We can use within the code editor, VS Code editor. So VS Code editor itself maintaining that PowerShell window. Instead of PowerShell window, we can use this one, so that it doesn't require to use that PowerShell window. While we are working with DOS, there is a command prompt. While we are working with Git, there is a Git bash is there. While we are working with Node.js, there is a PowerShell window is there, which is provided by VS Code editor. Did you understand? So that what is the folder structure? So when you want to learn about React, you should know the detailed information about this folder structure. So itself, React.js itself had 3 folders, 4 files. Okay. So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. We discussed about this one there in the JavaScript variable class. As well as it had a packages is there. It has SRC folder, public folder, node modules is there. So after installation, we discussed around 1436 packages, node modules, libraries has been installed within this folder. These are the default packages over here. Did you understand? Then where we need to work with within the folders or within the files. So which file we need to use to implement our React.js folder structure? What is the detailed information about okay, folder structure we'll discuss by tomorrow's session. Did you understand? Awake, Akshay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Akshay, did you understand?
Yeah, sir.
Yes. So do practice this one. Okay. Upcoming session, we will discuss about JavaScript within the React.js. Before that, we should know the folder structure. Okay. We should know the installation of React.js and all. Okay, do practice this one and do installation. By tomorrow session, I will look into it, and you, both of you guys, you need to install that React.js into your system. And after tomorrow, from tomorrow, we will continue rest of the topics. Akshay, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Avek, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Yes, yes. We will connect by tomorrow and do practice. I will share you this okay recorded session. Did you understand?
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, yaar, Akshay, Avek, bye, yaar.
Bye, sir. Bye.
Yeah, bye, yaar.
Bye, sir.
Yeah, bye, yaar.